Hi everybody, welcome to Tranquil Stitches. My name is Cheryl and I'm here to talk to you about a simple way to count your stitches. If you're brand new to counting your stitches, this is a very simple way that you can keep track of your progress in your pieces. Counting to me is a lot of fun. I enjoy seeing how much I can accomplish, how much time I'm spending on my hobby for myself. I know about how many stitches I can stitch in an hour, so it's a lot of fun for me to see how my months progress. Some months I don't do as much as others, and that tells me that I had other things going on that month, and it's just kind of a journal, type way to keep for your stitching. So I recently ordered these new Sharpies from Amazon. I got them in last week. They were having a sale in the Sharpie store on Amazon. If you bought $25 worth of Sharpie products, you got $10 off. So I got a really good deal on these 3 sets. The reason I went to the Sharpie store was because I saw that they now have a gel pen, and I was really excited about that. I am a huge fan of a gel pen. I've been using these Papermate Ink Joys, which I love dearly, and I also found this. I think this is felt though. This Micron, Pigma Micron. This is actually archival ink here, but I am a sucker for a fine tip. I love fine tip pens. This one is a 0.7, which is kind of a medium point, and I'm not really sure. I think I got these accidentally when I ordered a pack through Walmart's. You know how you can pre-order and then go pick it up, because sometimes they really don't pay any attention to what they pick up and put in your basket. So I think I got these 0.7s accidentally, but the 0.5s are what I typically use, and they're really fine and really wonderful. So I love these pens. Well, anytime Sharpie comes out with a pen, I'm interested, because I love Sharpie products. So we're gonna open these together and try them. These are actually a 0.38, so these are ultra fine. Very excited to try that. I also got these Sharpie Metallics. There is I think a gold, silver, and copper metallic. And then I got these, which I'm very interested in. These are liquid highlighters. I do use highlighters in my counting as well as the pens, so I'm anxious to try these and see how they work. This has an ink indicator, so it shows you the level of ink left in these. So I am really curious as to how these work. So we're going to find out. Okay, a very simple, from stitching all the way through how I count and track my stitches. So we're going to do this. This is a whip that I have right now. This I can't recommend enough. Make a working copy of what you're working with. Make a working copy. You can fold it 50 ways to Sunday. You can manipulate this. You can wad it up. It's a wonderful way to keep track of what you've stitched and count your stitches. So I make a working copy of everything that I stitch. I don't ever use my patterns, and I really don't think a lot of stitchers do use their original patterns. Some do, and that's fine. That's their option. But it's always fun to pass them along once you're done with them to another stitcher. But because of that, I always make a working copy. Then I fold it to the part of the chart that I'm working on at the time, and I attach it to my stitching with a needle minder. This way I can stitch and look at my pattern. I don't need a stand. I don't need anything. It's right here. If I can see to stitch, I'm going to be able to see this chart. It's up close and personal in my face. I can see, you know, I can see it well. I can follow it well. This is what I do for every project. I put my working copy right on my stitching, and it works wonderfully. Trust me. You, like I said, you can manipulate this any way. You can fold it in the middle and then fold it corner ways and sideways like Willy Wonka, back ways, front ways, any way you want to fold it to get it to where it's showing you what you're stitching. So can't recommend this enough. Ever since I started stitching, I can look at a pattern and stitch quite a ways before I highlight. I can just foresee stitches that way. Some people need to highlight more often. Like, say they do this set of 8 right here, that they want to highlight that set of 8 before they move on here so that they can keep their place. That's perfectly fine, whichever way you prefer to do it. What I do is I'll stitch like the U, the V, the O, and the P, for example, and then I will take my highlighter and I will highlight the stitches and count them. So let's open these highlighters and try these puppies out. Let's see. Very, very interested in these. I hope I like them. I don't know. They may be too, I don't know, too inky. But we're going to see. Ooh, too pretty. There's like a real pretty purple and a blue. Let's try the purple. So that's very interesting. You see the ink moving in the, can you see that? That's really interesting. I'm not sure what this is yet. But we're going to take these are a chisel point. So they're, you can see that. They're very, like they've got a point on the end. Can you see that ink moving in that? That's really cool. Okay, so I will take my chart. I take it off of my stitching, but since it's folded right here, I'm just going to do it on here. I always take it off my stitching in case I get highlighter on anything. So I'll go 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. There's 28 stitches in that U. So if I was doing it per letter, well, either way, either which way I'm doing it, I would take my phone, open my calculator app, and I would plug in 28 plus. And then I would count the O, 3. And sometimes if it's a repeating pattern, you only have to count it once. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21. Okay, so there's 21 in there. So I'm going to put back in my calculator 21 plus. And my calculator is going to keep up with how many I'm adding for the stitching that I've just done. Okay, kind of like these. I'm going to try something here. All right, let me finish this and then I'll play with these. Okay, so when you're finished with what you've stitched, now you can do it one of 2 ways, or whichever way. This is my stats book. I've had this book for a couple years now. This book I keep up with how many stitches I'm doing per project. That's not a good example. Let me show you something. Okay, Grace of a Flower. Okay, I worked on Grace of a Flower. Now I have finished my stitching for the day, and my calculator says that I stitched 75 stitches in this pattern today. So I put 75 right here in parentheses next to the name of the pattern. The next time I picked it up, I stitched 83. The next time I picked it up was 796. Now this can go on for a month or a week or two. You can divide it up per week, per 2 weeks, per 3 weeks, or, you know, per month. If it's per month now and you work on it more than, you're going to run out of space, okay? So then at the end of the month or the 2 weeks or whatever period I'm tracking, I will add these up and put the total over here. And then same thing for good intentions. I put the 2 totals from those 2 sessions, and then at the end of the month totaled it up. And then I add those up, and that's how many stitches I did for that period. The end of the month, I just add up all of the figures. If you draw a line after 2 weeks, then add these, put your total over here. 2 weeks, put your total over here. Then at the end of the month, add these 2, and that gives you how many stitches you did that month. Can you see this? Yeah. Okay. So that is an example of what I'm doing. See here, it gets a little crowded. See what I mean? So I worked on this one quite a bit during this time period in April of this year. So each time I picked it up, I put the totals in there and then totaled it at the end of the month. Now, if you want to do it on your notebook like this, that's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it, so let me show you. So if it's your daily 30 piece or a piece that you work on 3 or 4 times a week, you might want to do this. On your working copy, put the date that you're starting keeping up with your stitches. And then each time you stitch on it, put that number down here. When you've got 5 or 6 numbers here, pretty good chunk of numbers, add these up and then plug these in your book. See, I've not plugged anything in yet for this one. I'm keeping my totals right here. When I work on it a few more days, I'm going to total that, put that in parentheses, and then mark this out. Be sure, if you're keeping up with it like this, that you mark out what you've stitched, so that you won't get confused as to which row you're working on. See, I've got little lists everywhere on here, but just make sure that when you start a new list, you write out now this is actually 2 or 3 days worth of stitching. Well, 3 days, because I usually stitch about 100 a day on this. This is my daily 30. So, you know, if I've got it over here, the 100, 111, then 108, then I'll just total those and put it over here, you know, in a bigger chunk. So you can do that. I mean, whichever way you feel comfortable. That takes up less space here in your book. Okay, that takes up less space. See, I did that for this too. Okay, that is how I count my stitches. There's no app, there's no fancy schmancy, nothing. It's just a simple way to count them and track them. Now, this is my cross stitch planner, and in here is where I keep all of my stats from this book for each month that I work, for each month of stitching. I've got my Whip Go board on the front. If you're not familiar with Whip Go, it's about time to start thinking about your Whip Go for 2022, but it's a bingo board that you make on your own. Jessie Marie Sites from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I will link her below. She has a Facebook group for Whip Go, and you join that group, and then every month on the 26th of the month, she calls 2 bingo numbers. Whichever 2 numbers she calls, that ideally should be your focus piece for the month, but it doesn't have to be. You set yourself up a bingo board at the first of the year, put your goals on here. They can be stitch goals, page goals, they can be finish the flag or finish the house, or, you know, depending on what your goals are. 1,000 stitches, 500 stitches, put 200 stitches in it. So you correlate the project that she calls with your goal. Once you meet that goal, you don't have to meet it that month. Like the August, she called 26th of July. You don't have to meet that goal in August. If you meet that goal in September, then you've met the goal and you get to cross it out because it's been called. If you finish your goal and it's not being called, you just put down that you finished your goal, and then when it's called, you get to mark it out. So you have to have two things before you can mark it out. You have to have the number called by Jessie Marie, and you have to have your goal finished. Then you get to mark it out. So it's a bingo. It's a bingo game. You can self-reward for getting a bingo, which is a lot of fun. So I will link the Facebook group below if you're interested in participating next year. It's a lot of fun. It's very motivational for me. This is my first year participating. So Whip Go, I broke it down. These are the ones that I wanted to finish this year, and these were the stitch milestone goals that I had for this year. So I can look without trying to track them down on here, which ones of my projects are due to be finished and which ones are stitch goals, and then I keep a running total of my stitches so I'll know how many I've stitched, so I'll know roughly how many I still have to go. So, and then when I'm finished meeting a goal or finish the project, I highlight it and it's done. I also keep in here which months are finished. This is my list of 2021 finishes. I've had 11 this year. This is my 2021 new starts. I have the project, which this was blank at the first of the year. I put the project, the start date, if I finished it this year, and how many stitches I put in it this year. Because obviously there's not going to be any previous stitches because I just started it this year. So that's real simple. Start, finished, 2021 stitches. At the end of the year, I will take this book, and this is something you can do throughout the year as well, but I don't. I like to sit down at the end of the year with a cup of coffee and just add them all up together. But you take these totals, you look through your year, and each time you worked on a project, you put that number in your calculator. And then at the end of the year, you look through 12 months for coffee. And every time I stitched on coffee, I'll put the total that I stitched during that month in my calculator. And I'll add up all the months, and that'll be my 2021 stitches for that piece. I'll carry the 2021 stitches over to this one. This is my whips brought into 2021. So from 2020, all of these were my active whips in 2020 on December 31st. January 1st, I listed all of them that were whips. Put stitches to date, which was stitches through that I put into that project through December 31st. Then I put a finish date because my start date's going to be on the other one. So I'll know what day I started it. The 2021 stitches, if I finish it before the year's up, I put that total in here, and then total stitches from the previous and 2021 stitches. There's my total. So this is my main whip list of the whips that I brought with me into 2021. This one we skipped is my 2021 stats each month. UFO, how many starts, how many stitches I did, and how many finishes I had. So that's my 2021 stat sheet. Here, these stitches right here, at the end of the year, this is the part I love. I'm a bookkeeper by nature. This total of all these months here should equal, in 2021 here, all these plus the New Start 2021 stitches. Those two should equal this, because this is all the stitches I did per month, and this is all the 2021 stitches. I don't count previous stitches because these are all 2021 stitches. You see what I'm saying? So that's that. WIPs, I've got a list of WIPs carried over from 2020. This is just starts in 2020. These are starts in 2019. And on each one of these, if I finish something, I highlight it, so I'll know not to carry that over. Here are my 2020 stats. Same sheet that I just showed you for 21. Starts. I didn't have a UFO here because I typically don't UFO anything. Starts, 2020 stitches, finishes. And then I add up, came in with 24 WIPs. I had 26 new starts. I had 18 finishes. I did UFO 2 things, but I didn't put it up here. And I ended with 30 WIPs. Then I can average my stitches. I had 62,016 stitches in 2020. So, you know, it's just a... And here are my 2020 finishes. It's 2020 new starts. I had 26 new starts. 2020 stitches. And I finished all of these. Well, these are 21 finishes. And then 2019 WIPs to 2020. These were all of the WIPs I had on December 31st, 2019. So it's the same thing. And then WIPs carried over from 2019. 2019 Darktober starts. And 2019 Mania starts. These were designers. I don't know where. So that's how I track my stitches, and that's how I count and track. So we're going to try these pins out real quick. Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to try these out. Look! That's pretty. It's light. I prefer a heavier pen. It's very light. This is kind of, it's comfortable. It's got like a swirl. That's comfortable. You can get these in different colors, and supposedly this ring tells you what color it is, and I guess it's silver on the black ink ones. So let's try this out. Ooh, that's a very, very fine point. This moves a little bit. This barrel moves a little bit when you write with it, but it's okay. Yeah, it's good. I love that fine point. I can get into little tiny spaces with that. Very, very nice. Very nice. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, I want to do something here. I want to swatch these and see. It looks like it puddles a little bit at the end, but it does dry quickly, it looks like. It's a pretty magenta there. You have to be careful, I guess. Yeah, that's another thing I want to warn you about. That's a pretty blue. I'll show you that in a second. This is like a lighter blue. Ooh, that's pretty. My favorite. Oh, the neon. Yellow. Very neon color. Orange. Ooh. That's road construction orange there. Looks like a peachy pink color. And this looks like a true pink here. Pretty. Looks like Easter. And then a red. Oh, I really like these. I really like these. Yep. Thumbs up. Now I'm going to try these. Swatch these and see what they look like. It says these are excellent for dark surfaces. So these have probably been out, you know, 23 years, but I'm always late on the jumping on the bandwagon. So this is gold, metallic gold, and these are permanent. Ooh, it's got a fine tip. Oh, look at that. Looks like it might pick up the black from the line on the paper a little bit. Am I in frame? Yeah, but it shines. Look at there. That's the gold. Silver. Let's try to, ooh. It's almost like paint. There's the silver. And then this is a copper. That one seems like it's not. Seems like it's maybe running out a little bit. Oh, maybe it's just taking a second for it to. There's the copper. The silver seems to stand out the most. But I don't have any black. Anything black to write on. Should have thought of that. Oh well. Yeah, I like these too. These are cool. These will be pretty in a journal. And these I'm definitely using on my stitching. Yeah, let me show you. Let me tell you this one thing right quick. If you highlight on your chart, make sure it's dry before you flip it onto your stitching. Be sure it's dry. If you're using light color fabric, be extra sure. If you're not extra sure, take an extra piece of paper, lay it on your stitching, and then lay your copy on top of it that's got the highlight on it. You can also fold it to where, you know, part of the project that you need is on the back of, you know, a place that's not going to be highlighted. See how I've woolied this? I have woolied this because I just fold it to put it, you know, where I need it. So, okay, that's all I have for you today. I hope that that helps you in your counting. If you haven't counted before, try it. See if you like it. It doesn't take hardly any time, any effort. It's a great way to, like I said, track your progress and just see how much stitching you're getting done. So until I see you next time, happy stitching.